The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of Jordan's penthouse, shards scattering like the fragments of my heart in that frozen instant. I had walked in on him. My Jordan, the man whose whispered promises had anchored me through every storm. Entwined with a faceless stranger on a velvet chaise, their laughter a dagger twisting deeper than any betrayal I could have imagined. In that heartbeat, as his eyes met mine, wide with feigned shock, I realized the truth. All those nights of tender embraces and fervent vows had been nothing but a glittering illusion, and I was the fool who had believed in the shine. But rewind to 6 months earlier, when the illusion felt like destiny. It was a drizzly autumn evening in Brooklyn, the kind where the rain-slick streets reflected neon signs like fractured dreams. I was Alex Harper, 25 and scraping by as a freelance illustrator in a cramped walk-up studio that smelled of turpentine and takeout. My days blurred into sketches of forgotten lovers and urban solitude, my nights haunted by the echo of my parents' disapproval back in rural Ohio. Find a real job, Alex. And that phase, it's time to grow up. Being gay in a world that still whispered judgments had carved a quiet resilience into me, but left me starving for something real, something that saw beyond the surface. That's when I met Jordan Hale at a gallery opening in Soho. The space hummed with the elite. Collectors in bespoke suits, artists nursing insecurities behind ironic smiles. I had one piece on display, a watercolor of two silhouettes embracing against a stormy Manhattan skyline, raw and aching with unspoken longing. It was my heart on canvas, and I hovered near it like a nervous parent pretending to sip my cheap wine. He approached with the grace of someone who owned a room, his green eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made the air thicken. "You're the one who painted this," he said. Not a question, but a statement, his voice smooth as aged whiskey. 28, heir to a tech fortune that built apps for the 1%, Jordan was the epitome of effortless allure, tall, broad-shouldered, with a jawline that could cut glass and a smile that promised secrets. He wore a charcoal blazer over a crisp white shirt, unbuttoned just enough to hint at the strength beneath. It's visceral, like you've captured the exact moment before everything falls apart. I laughed, a nervous flutter in my chest. Or the moment it begins to heal. Our eyes held, and in that gaze, I felt seen, not as the small-town dreamer fumbling in the city, but as someone worthy of wonder. We talked for hours, the crowd fading into irrelevance. He shared stories of boardroom battles and the loneliness of legacy, how his family's expectations had forged him into a weapon rather than a man. I confessed my fears of fading into obscurity, of loving too fiercely in a world that rationed affection. By night's end, as rain pattered against the gallery windows, he slipped his number into my palm. "Call me Alex. Let's see if we can paint something real together." Our first date was magic woven from the mundane. A walk through Central Park as the leaves turned crimson, sharing street cart pretzels and dreams under the canopy of ancient oaks. Jordan's hand brushed mine, tentative at first, then bold, intertwining our fingers with a warmth that chased away the chill. "I've dated models and influencers," he admitted over coffee in a hidden Harlem cafe, his thumb tracing circles on my knuckles. "But they were all performance. With you, it's like breathing fresh air." His sincerity wrapped around me like a lifeline, pulling me from the isolation I'd known since coming out at 18, rejected by friends who called it a college experiment. We fell fast, a whirlwind of stolen weekends and late-night confessions. Jordan's world was a revelation. Helicopter rides to the Hamptons, where we'd make love on silk sheets overlooking crashing waves. Private dinners at Michelin-starred spots, his laughter echoing as he fed me bites of foie gras, eyes sparkling with what I swore was pure adoration. He introduced me to his inner circle, tech moguls and philanthropists who nodded approvingly at the charming artist on his arm. "Alex is brilliant," he'd say, squeezing my hand under the table. "He's going to change the way we see vulnerability in art." I believed him, every word, because in his arms, I felt invincible. My sketches evolved, infused with the colors of our passion. Bold strokes of crimson for his intensity, soft blues for the peace he brought me. Yet cracks appeared, subtle at first, like hairline fractures in fine china. At a gala in the Met's Temple of Dinder, surrounded by Egyptian relics that mocked our fleeting lives, Jordan paraded me like a prized acquisition. "Darling, meet Senator Ellis," he'd say, his arm a possessive band around my waist. "Alex here is my latest muse." The words landed wrong, reducing my essence to inspiration for his ego. I brushed it off. After all, he fought for queer rights publicly, donating millions to advocacy groups, his Instagram a parade of rainbow flags and ally posts. He's proud of me, I told my best friend Mia over brunch in Williamsburg, her skeptical arch of the brow dismissed as overprotectiveness. Mia, a fiery lesbian barista with tattoos snaking up her arms and a no-nonsense vibe honed from years in the city's underbelly, had been my rock since we bonded over bad poetry slams in college. Babe, billionaires don't date starving artists for the poetry, she warned, stirring her matcha with unnecessary vigor. They date them for the optics. Just keep your eyes open. But Jordan's gestures drowned out the doubt. A surprise trip to Provincetown, where we danced under string lights at a queer festival, his body pressed to mine in rhythm with the bass, whispering, "You're my everything, Alex. Don't ever leave." As winter blanketed the city in snow, our intimacy deepened. We'd curl up in his Tribeca loft, the floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Hudson like a private painting. He'd trace the freckles across my nose, murmuring about a future, adopting a rescue dog, maybe starting a foundation for young LGBTQ artists together. "I want the world to see us," he'd say, his voice thick with emotion. "To know that love like this exists." I poured my soul into a portrait of him, vulnerable, shirtless by the window, light catching the curve of his shoulder, eyes soft with unspoken fears. When I unveiled it during a quiet dinner, tears glistened in his gaze. "This is how you see me? God, Alex, no one's ever." He pulled me close, our kisses turning fervent, bodies entwining in a dance of fire and forgiveness. But the gala lingered in my mind, a shadow at the edges. Then came the invitations, black tie events where I was dressed in designer labels that felt like costumes, Jordan's hand guiding me through clusters of power players who sized me up like a praising art. He's adorable, one socialite cooed to another, her diamonds winking. Jordan's always had an eye for the pretty ones. Adorable, pretty, not talented, not profound, just decorative. I swallowed the bile, focusing on his proud grin, the way he'd lean in after kissing my temple. "You were perfect tonight. They all envy what we have." Spring bloomed, and with it, a milestone. Jordan proposed we move in together. "Make this place ours," he said one April morning, sunlight gilding his tousled hair as he knelt by the bed, a key dangling from a chain. My heart soared, validation, permanence in a life of transience. Packing my studio felt like shedding skin. I donated half my canvases to a youth center, keeping only those that screamed of us. Mia helped, her truck rattling with boxes, her silence heavier than usual. "You sure about this, Alex? His world is Shark Tank." I hugged her tight. "It's our world now." He sees me, settling, and was a haze of domestic bliss laced with unease. Jordan's schedule ballooned. Late nights at the office, weekends at conferences in Silicon Valley. I'd wait up, sketching by lamplight, the loft's vastness amplifying my solitude. When he returned, exhausted but affectionate, I'd melt into his apologies. "The pressure's insane, babe, but you're my anchor." Our lovemaking was electric, a reclaiming, his hands mapping my body like sacred text, my moans echoing off exposed brick. Yet photos appeared on his socials. Me at events, captioned, "My inspiration strikes again, power couple love wins." Always framed with him at the center, me the accessory. The first real fracture came in May, at a fundraiser for queer youth housing. Jordan was the keynote, his speech a masterclass in charisma. Tales of his coming out at 16, the family's initial chill thawing into support, the drive to give back. The crowd roared. I beamed from the front row, pride swelling. Backstage, champagne flowing, a donor clapped Jordan's shoulder. "Great work, Hale. And that arm candy? PR gold. Shows you're one of us without scaring the straights." Jordan laughed it off, but his grip on my elbow tightened as we left, steering me into the limo. "Ignore assholes like that. You're more than arm candy. You're my heart." I wanted to believe him. God, I tried. But doubt crept in like fog off the river. Mia noticed during our weekly coffee ritual at her cafe in the East Village, the aroma of fresh grounds a comforting ritual. "You're fading, Alex. Like he's dimming your light." I showed her my latest sketch, a self-portrait, eyes hollowed by shadows. "He's just busy. It's temporary." She squeezed my hand, her voice fierce. "Love shouldn't make you question your glow. Remember who you were before him. The kid who painted sunrises on cardboard because colors wouldn't stay in the lines." That night, I confronted the unease head-on. Jordan arrived home late, tie loosened, scent of scotch clinging. Over takeout tie and the kitchen island's glow, I set down my fork. "Do you ever feel like I'm just part of the package? The events, the photos, it's like I'm on display." His Ford paused, eyes searching mine. "Alex, that's not. You're everything. The world's harsh. I show you off because I'm proud. He crossed to me, cupping my face, kiss deepening until words dissolved into gasps. In bed, tangled and spent, he whispered, "Promise me you'll stay." "I need you," I promised, sealing it with a vow against his skin. Summer heat wave gripped the city, turning the loft into a sauna of sweat and secrets. Jordan's absences stretched, a week in LA for pitches, another in DC for lobbying. Texts came sporadic. "Miss you. Thinking of your laugh." I filled the void with work, landing a commission for a queer anthology cover. Two men silhouetted against a pride parade, hands linked defiantly. Pride swelled as I inked the final lines, imagining Jordan's reaction. But when he returned, jet-lagged and distracted, unpacking gadgets instead of unpacking us, the moment soured. "It's stunning," he said absently, scrolling his phone. "Post-it, tag me." Hurt bloomed, but I swallowed it, planning a surprise, a weekend getaway to the Catskills, a cabin by a lake where we'd unplug and reconnect. I booked it secretly, packing his favorite flannel, my sketchpad. The drive up was idyllic, windows down, indie folk crooning from the speakers, his hand on my thigh. "This is perfect," he murmured, kissing my knuckles. The cabin was rustic heaven, pine-scented air, a dock jutting into glassy water. We hiked trails hand in hand, laughing at squirrels, sharing stories of childhood crushes, his on the soccer captain, mine on the librarian with kind eyes. Evenings by the fire pit, stars wheeling overhead, we made love slow and deep, his body a landscape I knew by heart. "I love you, Alex," he breathed, fingers threading my hair. "You're the only real thing in my life." Vulnerability cracked his armor. He confessed the family pressure, expectations to marry appropriately, to wield his queerness as a brand, not a burden. Tears on my shoulder as he clung. "Without you, I'd shatter." I held him tighter, our hearts sinking in the quiet. It was bliss, a reset, convincing me the shadows were illusions born of my insecurity. Back in the city, reality intruded like a summer storm. Jordan's assistant scheduled me for a photo shoot, casual couple vibes for his profile, she chirped. I posed in his arms against the Brooklyn Bridge, wind whipping my hair, his smile camera ready. Then, the whispers started. At a rooftop bar in the meatpacking district, overlooking the Highline Serpentine glow, I overheard two of his colleagues. Hale's playing the long game. Diversity higher for the heartstrings. That boyfriend? Cute prop for the board. Laughter tinkled like breaking ice. I slipped away, heart pounding, downing a gin to numb the sting. Jordan found me later, concern etching his brow. "What's wrong?" I forced a smile. "Nothing. Tired." That night, his touch felt obligatory, our rhythm off, leaving me staring at the ceiling, wondering if Mia was right. Autumn returned, leaves carpeting the parks in gold and crimson, mirroring the slow bleed of my certainty. Jordan threw himself into a merger, his days a blur of calls and closeted meetings, but he made time for gestures, a bouquet of wildflowers on the counter, notes tucked into my sketchbook. "Your talent floors me." I clung to them, drawing him in stolen moments, profiles lost in thought, the weight of his world etched in furrowed brows. My own career flickered, the anthology sold modestly, praise trickling in from queer mags. "Raw and revolutionary," one review gushed. Jordan framed the clipping in his office, but rarely mentioned it, his focus on quarterly reports. We attended Pride's after-parties, a kaleidoscope of glitter and grit in Chelsea. Bodies pulsed to techno beats, rainbows painted on skin, the air electric with unapologetic joy. Jordan pulled me onto the dance floor, our hips grinding in sync, sweat mingling under strobe lights. "This is us," he shouted over the bass, lips brushing my ear. Unbreakable. Hours later, stumbling home, we'd collapse laughing, making love with the urgency of survivors. But even then, flashes intruded, his phone buzzing mid-kiss, eyes darting away, invitations phrased as Jordan and guest. Mia's warnings escalated during our fall harvest walk in Prospect Park, pumpkins dotting the paths like forgotten wishes. "He's curating you, Alex. Like one of his apps, polished interface, buggy core." I kicked a leaf, frustration bubbling. "He loves me. Fights for us." She stopped, gripping my arms, her dark eyes fierce under cropped hair. "Love fights dirty sometimes. Test you. If he's sincere, let him prove it without the spotlight." Her words haunted me that night, as Jordan worked late again, the loft echoing with my solitude. The Breaking Point brewed at a holiday preview gala in Midtown, crystal chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold. I wore the velvet jacket he'd gifted, feeling like an imposter among the glitterati. Jordan schmoozed, his charm a weapon, me trailing like a shadow. A venture capitalist cornered us, scotch in hand. Hail, your rebrand's genius. Straight-laced suits by day, rainbow warrior by night. And the eye candy? Seals the deal for investors. Jordan's laugh was sharp. Alex is no candy. He's the whole damn feast. But his eyes didn't meet mine, and the dismissal stung deeper than the compliment. I retreated to the balcony, city lights blurring through unshed tears. How had I become this? Reduced to a punchline in my own story. Footsteps approached. Jordan's arms encircled me from behind, chin on my shoulder. Hey, beautiful. Come back inside. They're asking for you. For me? Or for the prop? I turned, searching his face. Am I Jordan? Or just a pretty face that makes you look good? His brow furrowed, hurt flickering. What? No, God. Alex, you're my world. He kissed me then, slow and searching, the party noise fading. We left early, tumbling into the limo, hands roaming with desperate need. In the penthouse, against the wall, he gasped my name like a prayer, bodies crashing in a storm of reaffirmation. Winter solstice brought a fragile peace. We hosted a small Yule gathering. Me, Mia, and her girlfriend Lena, a few artist friends. In the loft, fairy lights twinkling against snow-dusted windows. Jordan surprised us with a towering tree, ornaments handmade by queer craftspeople, his laughter genuine as we decorated. To new beginnings, he toasted, clinking glasses, his free hand finding mine. For a moment, it felt real. The warmth of shared stories, his thumbs stroking my palm under the table, eyes soft with what seemed like forever. But New Year's Eve shattered the illusion's veneer. A lavish bash at a Hudson Yards venue, fireworks poised to bloom over the skyline. Jordan was magnetic, networking with ease, me orbiting in a sea of sequins. Midway, he vanished into a private lounge. Curiosity pulled me after. The door cracked open to voices, his smooth and calculated. The merger's key. Optics matter. Having Alex? It humanizes me, shows commitment to the cause without alienating the old guard. A chuckle from his partner. Smart play. He's perfect, talented enough to legit, tame enough not to threaten. I froze, blood roaring in my ears. Trophy. Prop. The words clawed at me, unraveling months of trust. Slipping away, I downed shots at the bar, the burn no match for the ice in my veins. Jordan found me swaying, concern masking calculation. Babe, you okay? I yanked away. Just peachy. Enjoy your optics. His face paled. What do you mean? But the fireworks erupted, masking my retreat, colors exploding like false hopes. Back home, alone in the loft's cavernous silence, I packed a bag, essentials, sketch pad, the portrait I'd painted of him, now a mocking relic. A note on the counter. Believed in your sincerity. Stayed too long. Goodbye. Dawn broke as I fled to Mia's in Bushwick, her door opening to my sobs. It's over, I choked. She pulled me in, fierce embrace. It's beginning, Alex. You're real one. Days blurred into a haze of grief and rage. Jordan's text bombarded. Please, talk to me. I love you. Calls unanswered. Voicemails cracking with pleas. It wasn't like that. I was strategizing, protecting us. Mia enforced radio silence, brewing tea strong as her resolve. He'll spin it, babe. But you're free. I sketched furiously, dark abstracts of shattered glass, figures dissolving into mist, pouring pain onto paper. A gallery scout emailed. Interest in a solo show themed on queer resilience. Irony bit, but hope flickered. 2 weeks in, Jordan appeared at Mia's stoop, disheveled in a hoodie, green eyes shadowed. Alex, please. 5 minutes. Mia blocked him, but I stepped out, arms crossed against the chill. Say it. His voice broke. I messed up. The world a game, and I played it. Use you to win points. But losing you? That's the real defeat. Tears tracked his cheeks. You're not a trophy. You're my truth. Come home. Heart-wrenching, I wavered. Memories of lake sunrises, fire pit confessions. But Mia's voice echoed. Love tests you. No, I said steady. You need to find your sincerity without me holding the mirror. He reached, but I stepped back. Goodbye, Jordan. The door clicked shut, his shadow lingering on the stoop like a ghost. Spring thawed the city in my soul, petals unfurling along the high line like tentative invitations to heal. I sublet a tiny studio in the Lower East Side, walls papered in my evolving art, pieces born of betrayal, vibrant with defiance. A man emerging from chains, rainbow veins pulsing through marble skin. Mia's cafe became my anchor, shifts behind the counter grounding me amid the steam and chatter. "You're glowing again," Lena noted one afternoon, her gentle smile a balm as she sketched caricatures for tips. The solo show loomed, a June debut at an up-and-coming gallery in Nolita. I titled it Shades of Sincerity, canvases screaming questions. What does real love look like? Is vulnerability a strength or a snare? Curators buzzed. Queer media picked it up, interviews probing my inspirations. I sidestepped the personal, focusing on the universal ache of loving amid erasure. It's about seeing oneself clearly, I told a podcaster, voice steady for the first time in months. Jordan's name surfaced in whispers. Had he seen the promo? I didn't ask, didn't care. Or so I told myself. He did reach out, indirectly. A donation to the gallery, anonymous but flagged by the director. Generous patron, she winked. Heard it's an ex. I laughed it off, but unease stirred. Then, an envelope arrived at the studio, handwritten, his script elegant loops. Inside, a check for 10 grand, scrawled note, for your dreams. No strings. I was wrong. Forgive me. I tore it up, confetti of regret scattering like snow. Mia found me staring at the pieces. Power move or penance? Neither, I replied. I'm done being his redemption arc. Yet echoes lingered. Dreams of his touch woke me sweating, heart racing with what-ifs. Dates flickered. Mia set me up with Theo, a soft-spoken poet from Queens, 26 with curly hair and a laugh like summer rain. Coffee turned to walks in Fort Greene, his hand tentative in mine, stories of his own coming out scars weaving with mine. You deserve someone who centers you, he said over gelato, eyes warm without possession. It felt light, promising. No penthouses, just parks and poetry slams where we'd cheer each other's verses. The opening night arrived like a thunderclap. The gallery thrummed, fairy lights strung across exposed beams, champagne flutes clinking, bodies a mosaic of genders and graces. My pieces hung like confessions, spotlit against white walls. Friends rallied. Mia in a leather jacket, Lena snapping pics, even my parents video calling from Ohio, their voices thick, proud of you, son. Truly, tears pricked as I mingled, vulnerability raw under the gaze of strangers who saw my pain and called it profound. Then he appeared. Jordan, across the room, suit impeccable but eyes haunted, nursing a water like penance. Our gazes locked, the crowd parting like a biblical sea. He approached slow, hands in pockets. Alex, they're breathtaking. Honest in a way I never was. I nodded, throat tight. Thank you for coming. Silence stretched, charged. I saw the show promo. Had to see you thrive. A beat. I'm sorry. Truly. Not for the optics, for dimming you. His voice cracked, green eyes pleading. I loved you. Love you still. But I get it if that's not enough. The air hummed with unspoken endings. Theo appeared at my elbow, hand light on my back. Everything okay? Jordan's jaw tightened, then softened. Yeah, take care of him. He slipped away, vanishing into the night, leaving a void that didn't ache as fiercely. Reviews poured in post-show. Harper's work is a clarion call for authentic queer narratives. Sales followed, enough for a down payment on a shared space with Theo, cozy, cluttered with books and brushes. We built slow. Brunches in bed, collaborative pieces where his words danced across my lines. No grand gestures, just steady presence. Him holding me through nightmares of green eyes, me cheering his chapbook launch. Summer solstice found us at Coney Island, boardwalk alive with screams and salt air. Theo's fingers laced mine as we rode the cyclone, wind whipping laughter from our lungs. This is us, he said later, toes in sand, sunset painting the waves gold. No trophies, no shelves, just two souls scarred but sincere, building from the ground up. Yet Jordan's shadow flickered once more, a tabloid blip. Tech Air comes out fully, post-breakup reflection. An interview, raw, admitting his queerness had been performative, a tool for empire building. I heard someone real. Learned too late that love isn't a strategy, it's surrender. Readers debated. Activists praised the accountability. I read it in Theo's kitchen, coffee steaming, a quiet smile curving my lips. Not vindication, but validation, that my leaving had sparked his reckoning. Fall deep in our roots. Theo and I moved into a railroad flat in Bed-Stuy, walls blooming with joint art. Murals of intertwined histories, queer icons reimagined in street-style glory. Mia officiated our commitment picnic in McCarran Park, blankets, cupcakes, vows exchanged under oak shade. I choose you. Every day, Theo murmured, rings simple silver on my finger. For the mess and the magic. One crisp October eve, as leaves swirled like confetti, I got a call from an old contact. Jordan, launching a foundation for LGBTQ artists, scholarships in emerging voices like Alex Harper's. No ask, just an update. He's changed, the voice said. Single-focused. Asked me to pass it on. I thanked them, hung up, and turned to Theo, sketching by the window. Everything good? Yeah, I said, joining him, pencil in hand. Just ghosts settling. Winter whispered promises of renewal. Holiday lights twinkled in Washington Square, where Theo and I buskied. Him reciting, me live drawing the crowd. Strangers tossed coin smiles. A drag queen tipped big, winking. You two? Electric. Homeward, snow dusting our scarves, we dreamed aloud. A joint exhibit, a road trip cross-country, chasing sunsets in queer havens. But closure came unbidden. New Year's at a queer center bash. Balloons, beats, bodies free. Jordan was there, cornered by donors, but his eyes found mine across the room. No approach, just a nod, respectful, distant. Beside me, Theo's arm around my waist, our kiss sweet under mistletoe. In that moment, I saw it. My staying had been belief in a mirage, but leaving? That birthed my truth. As midnight struck, confetti raining, cheers erupting, I pulled Theo close. To us, I whispered. Fireworks bloomed, but brighter was the certainty. Love isn't believed in blindly. It's built brick by honest brick on shelves we choose to fill ourselves. No, wait. The arc needs extension for 7 parts. The story so far is building, but ending too soon. Adjust. This is midpoint realization deepening, more tension. Actually recalibrate. Previous files had the betrayal hook, romance build, cracks, first fracture, winter peace, NY shatter, then healing start. Now extend the healing with complications, more drama for tension, leading to meaningful end. Spring's renewal carried undercurrents of unresolved tides. My days filled with commissions, murals for a Brooklyn community center, portraits for a trans memoir, each stroke a reclamation. Theo's presence was a gentle current. Mornings tangled in sheets, his poetry murmured against my neck, evenings debating aesthetics over ramen, his laugh dissolving my lingering doubts. You're not just surviving, he'd say, tracing my collarbone. You're soaring. Yet Jordan's donation lingered like a half-heard echo, a reminder that some wounds scar but don't fully fade. Mia's cafe thrived, her expansion plans including a queer open mic night I emceed. Spotlights on trembling voices sharing tales of first loves and last straws. One evening, a newcomer took the stage, a young trans artist, voice quavering, reciting about being shelved by a partner who prized optics over authenticity. The room hushed, then erupted. Tears stung my eyes, mirror to my own buried ache. Afterward, she approached. Your work inspired me. That show? It said what I couldn't. Validation washed over me, fierce and freeing. But drama stirred when Jordan's Foundation invited me to a panel. Authenticity in art and activism. The email polite, no pressure, your voice would resonate. Theo read it over my shoulder, brow quirking. Go if it heals. Skip if it hurts. I agonized nights, sketching hypotheticals. Me on stage, him in the audience, words as weapons or bridges. Mia voted nay. Don't give him your light for free. Ultimately, curiosity won. I accepted, prepping slides of my evolution, voice steady in rehearsals. The event was in a sleek Chelsea auditorium, air-conditioned hush amplifying nerves. Panelists flanked me, a non-binary activist, a lesbian filmmaker, Jordan moderating with subdued charisma. No tailored flash, just slacks and a button-down, I shadowed by what looked like genuine fatigue. Our gazes met pre-start. He nodded, a silent thank you. The discussion flowed, tackling tokenism, the commodification of queer stories. Art isn't a prop, I said when my turn came, voice clear. It's a pulse. When it's shelved for someone else's narrative, it dies. Murmurs rippled. Jordan's pen paused, face paling. Q&A turned tense, a question on personal costs of visibility. I hesitated, then dove. I love someone who saw my art as an accessory to his empire. Believed his sincerity until I saw the shelf. Gasps. Jordan shifted, but I pressed. It taught me. Stay for truth, not promises. Applause thundered. Afterward, he approached in the green room, hands clasped. That was you. Raw. I met his gaze. It is me. Thanks for the platform. No more. Theo waited outside, our fingers linking as we left, the night air crisp with closure. Summer intensified bonds and tests. Theo and I collaborated on a zine. Unshelved. Queer Tales Untold. Crowdfunding success, funding print runs, distribution to shelters. Late nights at Kinko's, ink-stained and giggling, we'd steal kisses amid collating. But Strain showed. His book tour loomed, cross-country, weeks apart. We'll text sonnets, he joked, but anxiety gnawed, echoes of Jordan's absences. The night before he left, we walked the promenade in Brooklyn Heights. Manhattan's glow across the water, a glittering temptress. Promise you'll wait, I whispered, vulnerability cracking. He stopped, cupping my face. I'm not going anywhere. Heart's parked here. Our goodbye lovemaking was tender, bodies mapping futures, his words a litany, you, always you. His absence stretched like taffy, days of solo sketches, Mia's pep talks, calls laced with longing. Then, temptation knocked. Jordan, at a coffee shop near my studio, coincidental bump. Heard about the zine. Brilliant. We talked, neutral ground, art and activism. I've been in therapy, he admitted, stirring black coffee. Unpacking the performative crap. Wish I'd started sooner. Sincerity gleamed, but I held boundary. Growth's good. Glad for you. No invitations, just a nod as I left, heart steady. Theo's tour postcards arrived. Haikus from Portland dives, sketches from Austin murals. Rejoining in a rainy LaGuardia arrival, hug crushing, we dove into reunion. Dinners at hole-in-walls. Bodies rediscovering in the flat's creaky bed. Fall brought harvest. Zine launch at a warehouse party in Bushwick. Bodies swaying to electronica. Copies vanishing into eager hands. Jordan sent a congratulatory bottle of wine. No note, just label. To unshelved truths. Winter's grip tested resilience. A blizzard blanketed the city. Power outages turning our flat into candlelit cocoon. Theo read aloud from his chapbook, voice weaving spells. I drew him by firelight, lines soft with adoration. But news hit, Jordan's company scandal. Insider trading whispers, boardroom purge. Headlines screamed, hail, heirs fall. Paparazzi swarming his building. Mia forwarded a clip. Him, haggard at a presser. Personal failings amplified professional ones. Stepping back to reflect. Sympathy flickered unbidden. Karma's bite, but human cost. I texted brief, heard the news. Hang in there. Reply swift. Thanks. Means more than you know. No more. Boundaries held. New Year's dawned clear. Theo and I toasting on our fire escape. City horns a distant roar. To shelves we build together, he said, kiss sealing it. Fireworks burst, but our quiet spark burned brighter. Proof that sincerity isn't believed, but earned, one honest dawn at a time. No. Extend for drama. Introduce conflict. Perhaps a moment of relapse or external pressure. Actually, to hit 7 parts, layer more. Deepen healing with a relapse temptation, external drama from Jordan's fall affecting Alex, building to climax of choice, then resolution. The scandal's ripples lapped at my shores unexpectedly. A journalist from a queer outlet called, voice eager. Alex, off record. Jordan Hale's ex? Sources say your split triggered his authenticity pivot. Spill for the piece. I declined, polite but firm, but unease settled. Tabloids twisted. Tech tycoon's trophy boyfriend. The breakup that broke the empire? Blurry photos of us at galas surfaced, captions dripping innuendo. Harper's heartbreak or Hale's hype? Public scrutiny stung, old wounds reopening. Strangers at readings whispered. Online trolls dissected my art as breakup bait. Theo shielded me, deleting comments, pulling me into walks along the Gowanus Canal. Water murky, but banks blooming with graffiti wildflowers. They're jealous of your fire, he'd say, arm around me. But doubt crept. Was I tainted a footnote in his downfall? Jordan reached out amid the storm. A late-night call, voice ragged. Alex, it's bad. Board circling. Family cutting ties. Your text kept me from the edge. Paused, breath shaky. Can I see you? Just talk. Heart tugged. Compassion warring with caution. Theo, overhearing, squeezed my hand. Your call. But remember why you left. I agreed to coffee, neutral turf, a quiet spot in the village, away from lenses. He arrived gaunt, stubble shadowing his jaw, once sharp suit hanging loose. Thanks for coming. We sipped in silence at first, steam rising like ghosts. Then, floodgates. The merger's collapse, accusations flying, his queerness weaponized by rivals. Unstable, distracted by drama. Tears welled. I deserved it. Used people, including you. But God, I missed the man I was with you. Vulnerability poured. Therapy revelations, family estrangement, a sobriety pledge after scotch-fueled nights. Sympathy swelled, memories softening edges. Lake whispers, gala defenses. I forgive you, I said softly. For me, not you. But we're different paths now. He nodded, wiping eyes. Fair. Just. No, I see you. Always will. Hugs exchange, brief, platonic. Then parting, snow flurrying outside. Home to Theo, confession spilled. He listened, then pulled me close. Proud of your heart. Bigger than mine sometimes. Lovemaking followed, reaffirming, body's a sanctuary. Spring's thaw brought renewal laced with opportunity. My art caught a collector's eye. A major piece sold to MoMA's Queer Wing. Interview requests surging. From shelf to spotlight. One headline quipped, but I owned it. Betrayal birthed breakthrough. Theo's book hit shelves. Tour too electric with sold-out readings. We synced calendars, stealing weekends in the Berkshires. Cabins where we'd hike and hash life. Dreams of a house upstate. Kids maybe, via surrogacy. A family woven from chosen threads. But tension peaked at a spring art fair in Chelsea, booths buzzing with buyers. Jordan appeared, uninvited but unassuming, browsing solo. Our booth, Theo's poems etched on my prints, drew a crowd. He lingered at the edge, eyes on a piece. Two figures, one shelving the other, then breaking free. Powerful, he said, buying it quietly. Later, at the after-party in a warehouse loft, bass thumping, he cornered me by the bar. Alex, wait. I've changed, sold shares, starting over. Small firm, real impact. Want you to consult. Your vision for the queer initiatives. Temptation flashed. Security, shared purpose, echoes of what could have been. Theo nearby, chatting artists, oblivious. Jordan, no. That's closing circles, not opening new. His face fell. One dinner? For old times. Heart raced. Old flames flickering. But Theo's laugh carried, grounding me. Goodbye means goodbye. I walked away, finding Theo, kiss claiming in the crowd's chaos. Summer solstice party sealed shifts. Mia's open mic expanded to a festival, stages in McCarran Park alive with performers. Theo and I headlined. Duo said his words over my live illustrations projected huge. Crowd roared. Jordan watched from afar, clapping polite, then leaving alone. Post-set, under string lights, Theo knelt. Not proposal, but promise. Build forever with me. Tears, yes. Hugs from friends. The night a tapestry of triumph. Fall's palette painted growth. We scouted properties, cozy Victorian and Hudson, river views for inspiration. Closing day, keys in hand, we danced in empty rooms, visions of studios, nurseries. Jordan's firm launched modestly, reviews praising grounded approach. No mention of me, boundaries respected. Winter's hush, gifted reflection. Holiday cards from old circles. One from Jordan, simple, wishing you shelves full of joy. Jay smiled, filed away. New Year's Eve, our first in the house. Fire crackling, champagne bubbling, Theo's head on my shoulder. To believing in us, he toasted. Fireworks distant, but our spark eternal. Sincerity not in staying, but in choosing daily with eyes wide open. Climax needs more gay can. Add a high-stakes confrontation or relapse moment for Kitsch 10. The summer festival's high faded into a deceptive calm, but autumn winds carried a gale. Theo's book tour extended. European leg. A month of Paris cafes and London launches. Video dates, love, he promised at JFK. Kiss lingering. Alone in the Hudson house, walls echoing, I dove into a new series. Trophy no more. Sculptures of glass and wire. Figures shattering shelves. Gallery buzzed. A Berlin exhibit offered. But isolation amplified vulnerabilities. Late nights, wine loosening tongues, I'd scroll old photos. Jordan to me at Pride, grins genuine then. A text pinged. Him, saw your Hudson listing. Happy for you. Coffee while Theo's away. No agenda. Heart stuttered. Loneliness whispered yes. Met at a diner upstate. Vinyl booth sticky, coffee bitter. You look good, he said, eyes tracing. Talk veered personal. His therapy, a fleeting fling that fizzled. Realization of patterns. You were the one who got away. Taught me love's not conquest. Air thickened, his hand brushing mine. Memories surged, penthouse passions, his body arching under mine. Jordan, warning, but weak. He leaned, lips hovering. One kiss. For closure. I pulled back, chair scraping. No, that's not closure. It's cycle. Stormed out, drive home, tear blurred, guilt gnawing. Confessed to Theo via call, voice breaking. Foolish. But stop. His response calm. Trust tested. You passed. Miss you. Fall deep in the rift, or mended it. Theo returned changed, tour hardened, stories of queer scenes abroad, igniting ideas for global zines. But tension simmered. Over dinner by the river, he voiced it. Scared me, Alex. Not the almost, just that he still has pull. Vulnerability mirrored mine. We talked till dawn, tears and truths forging stronger alloy. We're human, I said, but chosen. Therapy joined our routine. Couple sessions in a cozy Poughkeepsie office, unpacking shelves of past. Jordan's overreach escalated drama. A cease and desist arrived. His lawyers, claiming a sculpture defamed by resemblance to our story. Trophy motifs, too close. The letter blustered. Outrage boiled. Mia rallied legal aid from queer networks, countering with free speech. Press exploded. Art versus X, Harper's bold stand. Protests formed. Pickets at his office. Chance of art isn't owned. Climax crested at the court hearing in Albany. Wood-paneled room stuffy with stakes. I testified, voice steady. My words from pain, not pettiness. Shelves break. That's the point. Jordan took the stand, suit crisp, but eyes evasive. Regret the suit. Was hurt, lashing. Judge dismissed, cost to him. Outside, flashes blinded. He caught me in the hall. I'm sorry. Again. Drop it. I faced him, Theo's hand in mine. Dropped long ago. Heal your own shelves. Resolution bloomed in winter's embrace. Berlin exhibits soared, sold outs. Reviews hailing a queer odyssey of self-possession. Home, Theo and I planned. Adoption seminars, garden plots for spring. Me as festival grew, us as patrons. Jordan faded. Rumors of relocation, quiet life. New Year's, snow muffled, we renewed vows by the hearth. Believing in our sincerity, we stay, shelves equal, trophies none. Meaning etched. Love's drama forges, not breaks. Humanistic value in choosing authenticity. Every shattered piece a step to whole. The lawsuit's dust settled like fresh powder, leaving clarity's gleam. Spring erupted in the Hudson Valley, lilacs perfuming air, our garden bursting with tomatoes and zinnias, Theo's herbs mingling with my wildflowers. The Berlin acclaim opened doors, a residency in Provincetown, dual invite for us. Our turn, Theo grinned, packing easels and notebooks. The Cape was queer utopia, beaches dotted with writers, dunes whispering histories of hidden loves. Days blurred into creation, mornings sketching gulls wheeling over bays, afternoons his poems unfurling like sails, evenings bonfires with locals, stories swapped of Stonewall echoes, AIDS quilts, joys reclaimed. One twilight, Jordan's name surfaced in a fellow artist's tale. Heard the tech guys gone nomad, volunteering in queer youth camps out west. Rough road, but real. No bitterness, just nod to shared growth. Back home, summer hummed with milestones. Adoption process kicked off. Home studies, profiles polished with our art-filled life. Mia, through a family frenzy, barbecue. Lena grilling, friends toasting to roots and wings. A match came swift. A newborn boy, surrendered with love, eyes wide as our world's wonders. Naming him River, after the Hudson's steady flow, we cradled him in the Victorian's nursery, walls murals of adventures awaiting. Fall's harvest brought reflection. A documentary crew approached, unshelved lives, profiling my journey. I agreed, Theo co-narrating, footage weaving our story, betrayals ached to triumph's warmth. Jordan consented to a snippet, archival gala clips, his voiceover, I was the shelf. Learned too late. Grateful he broke free. Airing to acclaim, messages flooded. Your courage saved me. Humanistic ripple, value in vulnerability shared. Winter solstice, River's first snow, we bundled him for a park stroll, flakes dancing like blessings. Theo's arm around us, voice soft, from believing blindly to building boldly. New Year's dawn, hearth aglow, we whispered gratitudes for heartbreaks that honed, sincerities that sustained. In the end, the shelf was mine to furnish, with authenticity's gleam, love's unyielding light. believing not in illusions, but in us. Trophies transcended, humanity embraced.